Jill Hope here with Unleash Your Inner Wealth, and I have got something very important to talk to you about today, and it's this whole idea about expanding your mind when it comes to money and your wealth and abundance. Now, did you ever have a time in your life where, and you might do this all the time. I mean, this might be a regular habit for you. I know it was for me, but of small thinking. Like, for example, I'll never forget when I was in my early 20s and I went shopping with a girlfriend, and we got to this clothing store and they had all these lovely things. And, I was looking, but I always kind of felt like, oh, I can't afford this and I can't afford that. But she proceeded to go and purchase, like, I think it was well over $500 worth of merchandise, which in today's money probably would be twice that, right? So at least like it would be like $1,000. Just dropped it just like in 30 minutes. And I remember thinking, oh my God, how can you do that? I mean, the concept of spending even more than $100 to me seemed like, oh, we're getting into scary territory now. And we do this to ourselves when we think like that. And it's really important to pay attention to when you notice yourself doing that. Because I caught myself. I thought, what am I doing? Why am I thinking that that's crazy? And then I even started to judge. I would think thoughts about, how can you put the money there instead of saving it or putting it in a 401k? Or, I was having all these judgments over a really good friend and her purchasing decisions. I was putting my limited view of how people should spend money onto my friend, who actually happened, at least at that time, and probably still, was way more abundant than I was, okay? So obviously she knew something I was not aware of yet. So this is something we need to look at in ourselves. How are you thinking that's keeping you in a box when you think about your finances or abundance or prosperity? Do you have judgments around how people spend their money? Do you make comments in your own mind when you see someone cruise by in their Mercedes? Do you, how are you thinking about what you're seeing? When you see someone in a lovely home, a home that maybe you've never thought you could own, what is your perspective around that? Okay. So start to become aware of this. This is so important. I was talking to a client of mine not that long ago, and I was asking her, what's your heart's desire? What do you really want? So she was listing off some things. And one of the things she said was, I really want to be able to get a mortgage. I want to get the money together to get a mortgage so we can get this house. And I said, okay, hold on. The radar went off that she was thinking small, because how many people walk around saying, my dream is to have a mortgage? Probably not that many, right? But from her more limited mindset, that's all she could see. That's as far out as she could see. That was as big as she could see was possible for her. So what I asked her is, I said, well, wait a minute. What if you were able to just write a check for the house outright? Would that be better, or would you prefer a mortgage? And of course she laughed and she said, oh my gosh, I would love to be able to just write a check and have the home. So think about how you limit yourself, because when you put those kind of constraints around you, when you only think from the perspective of what you think you can get rather than what you really, really want, I guarantee you will never get more than what you think you can get. You've got to start stretching the boundaries, the walls around what you think the universe can bring to you, because really the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. So I want to share an exercise with you about how you can actually do this for yourself. Now, when you start noticing, so the first step is you're going to start noticing how you're thinking about certain things that relate to money. Okay. So when you see a fancy car go by, or you see someone carrying a $2,000 plus handbag, or, you see someone step out of their gorgeous home, start to notice, what are your thoughts around that? And how are you feeling? How are you feeling in your body? And what you'll notice is how you think and how you feel will probably fall into one of three different categories. So category number one is it'll light you up. It'll inspire you to add that to your list if that's something that you want. Sort of like what my client did. When I mentioned being able to just write the check outright for the home, she got so lit up. She was all over that and actually changed her wish list, her dream list, to include that. So that's one possible scenario. That's the ideal scenario, is that you feel lit up. But there are two others to watch out for. The second category is that you notice a sort of those words start going in your head, very kind of judgmental comments, or it might be things not only judging the person but judging yourself, like, well, how would I ever do that, or I can't see my way to ever be able to do that, or I don't know how it's going to happen, or a million different ways that you talk yourself out of your dreams. So if you're hearing things like that in your head, I want you to write them down, because it's when we put it to paper and we actually see it that we're able to transform it. Okay. So the third category to look out for that you may fall into if you notice these, you're having these money reactions, right? When you see money out there and people's behaviors around money, is you might not necessarily have words in your mind. You may not have a lit up feeling, but you may have a sinking feeling or a shrinking or constricting feeling when you see that. And it's kind of it's like a, maybe you feel a little depressed, maybe you feel sad. It's that feeling that oh, I could never have that. And if you've ever been there, it's not a great feeling. That's not fun to be walking around with. And it's not an expansive, high vibration for attracting anything that's even close to looking like wealth. So you definitely want to shift that. But first, be aware of what you're feeling and where you're feeling it in your body. Do you feel the constriction in your heart? Are you feeling it in your throat? Are you feeling it a little bit lower down, like just above your navel? Where are you feeling that constriction? Because that's going to give you an indication about what might be going on for you regarding that thought. So write it down. Write down what you're feeling. Write down what you notice. Keep a journal about this, about your feelings, about your thoughts, so that can be used as a springboard to start your transformation to bigger thinking. When you see that you're feeling low, there's a couple questions you can ask yourself about that to move through it and get to the other side of bigger thinking. You can ask yourself, what are you saying to yourself that would cause you to feel the way you do? Because sometimes the words don't come to you right away. But when you ask yourself that question, your subconscious will immediately go looking for the answer to that. It'll look for the answer as to why you're feeling depressed or why you're feeling constricted or small. Okay, so ask yourself that question, write down the answer. Another question you can ask yourself that will help you is, what would I have to be believing for this feeling to be present in me when I see that person in their car? What would I have to be believing to have this feeling be present in me? And write that down. Because what we really want to get to is the story that you're telling yourself. These are the things that close us down to wealth. They close the channels, they put us in the box, and we end up never being able to increase our money flow. So that's my tip for today, is to expand your thinking, get out of your small thoughts about money, and start analyzing how you're thinking and how you're feeling when you are seeing people out there using their money. How do you judge it? What do you say to yourself about it? And how are you feeling in your body? Because when you can identify where you're at with that, you can absolutely transform it. So I hope that was helpful for you today. Again, I'm Jill Hope with Unleash Your Inner Wealth, and I have a free training audio for you. In this audio, I have talked about the 7 inner shifts that you absolutely need to make if you want to boost your wealth this year. Okay. These are things that I had to do and that I'm continuing to work on within myself. And I am working with clients to help them shift these things and embody these new habits in their life. So if you want to get that audio, I'm currently offering it for completely free, 100%. Normally it's $97. The link is down below, so you can go and grab that while it's still available. Make sure you get a copy of that. Listen to it. It's about 34 minutes long, so not a long time. You can listen to it when you're driving to work or going on a walk or taking your dog out, but definitely check that out. The other thing is, if you want to reach out to me personally, you can reach me at info@ishinekids.com. I want to hear from you. How do you feel when you see people out there, with their fancy purses and cars and homes and expensive trips and all of that? Go ahead and leave me a comment down below. I want to know what are some of the things that come up for you when you see that in your life, okay? Because we got to see it to be able to shift it, all right? So take care, everyone. And until next time, Jill Hope here signing off. Oh, and make sure you subscribe, because guess what? I'm coming out with another video really soon. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and make sure your notifications are turned on so that you can be notified when the next video comes out. Take care. And until next time, be well.